Hello everyone, this is Joanna the Medium. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and for those of you who are regulars, welcome back. I hope you like these messages. I will keep the intro very brief. These are, as you know, your September messages. A lot of it was channeled at the very beginning. Interesting energies, to say the least. I think I've said this before, we're all going through transformations and a lot of it is coming up. There's a lot of educational information I feel in these messages. So even if you're one sign and you're drawn to another sign that you don't relate normally, you might want to listen and see if there is something for you there, because I feel like they kind of sprinkled tips all over the place that could be useful by anyone, regardless of which category they feel into, because these are life situations that Spirit talked about. Also, for additional information as far as longer term messages, I will put those links down for you below. They are on Vimeo. There is the 6-month projection from July until the end of this year, December 2018. Also, the 7-year Uranus videos are also there, and that's a 7-year projection, so it'll give you the big picture of what things will be like over the next several years. But the 6-month is much more potent, because it's only focused on the next 6 months or so. Of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below. Thank you so much once again for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I always say, without you, I wouldn't do this. And what I do is something that I absolutely love. And I remind myself every single day how lucky I am to be able to do this and love what I do, because it isn't often that everybody gets to do that, right? So that just, I'm supposed to say, that just affirms that when you believe in what you do, things eventually happen. I think that message was for somebody. So I think that's all I have. Thank you again. Of course, if you would like to comment, information is comment down below how this applies to you, and listen to your other signs, for one of them may not mean much to you, but always listen to it at the end of the month or next month, because you guys always tell me that at the beginning it makes no sense, and then you come back and you go, oh my God, I can't believe it. So I wish you best of luck. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care of yourself, and let's get going. Hello, beautiful Leos. These are going to be your messages for the month of September 2017. This is the second time I'm recording your messages, because the first time I literally stumped out of it and I couldn't get back to it. So when that happens, and it happens once in a while, I take it as a sign that, maybe just wasn't the right message for you. So I'm doing it again on a different day. And I'm chuckling to myself, because I received some messages for you, and then I put out some cards, and the cards confirmed the messages that I saw when I was meditating on you. So when that happens, I go, yes, we're on the right path. So transitions is what I want to say. But at the same time, and in all fairness, we are all transitioning. So one of the things that's being shown to me, hang on one second. Okay, all right. For some of you, congratulations. And I'm going, what is it? And who am I congratulating to, number one? And what am I congratulating them for? For some of you, you got a big win. I don't know what this win is, whether it's a lottery, whether you got a big win at work, your project got accepted, you got a huge bump in salary, anything that make you go, yes. And you've worked hard for it. It is being said, congratulations to you, and you know who you are. So it either will happen in September, or it will happen closer to October. So it looks like this covers few months, but this is going to be something major, something that is substantial for you, or substantial enough for somebody to say congratulations to you. In other words, be proud of how well you've done. So this is going to mean something to you. Now, when I was meditating, one of the things I saw about you energetically was it's time to free yourself. But before I go there, I'm being reminded to tune into the overall energy and to tell you how I feel. Okay. I feel excited, but at the same time, I don't want to face it. Very interesting. So there seems to be some sort of a transition, yes, but some sort of an internal block, a hesitation, a conflicting feeling about something in your life. So obviously, I don't know how this connects in your life, but it's going to be interesting. It is... I want to say it's something you don't want to face, but there is excitement about it. So I'm going, how can there be two contradicting feelings? And I'm hearing exactly. So for some of you, you might be stuck in a situation where you have conflicting views or beliefs with what's in front of you. What would that look like? Yeah, what would that look like? So I hear project an image of yourself and see if you can face it. I don't know what that means. Okay, for those of you who are presented with something in the month of September or thereabouts, and it gives you an anxiety, but it's a good opportunity for you, that would explain the excitement and also the fear of not facing it at the same time. So this is for those of you who are transitioning from one set of circumstances to the next, whether it be your entire thinking belief system, your home situation, your work situation, your friendship, something within your work, whatever it is for you. If you are in that transition, or you already are, it's not that you will be, you already are for most of you, something will happen where you will be looking for something that you want or need, but your current set of belief systems will give you an indication that for some reason you can't have it. So it's important for you to realize what that is for you. It is a feeling of an inner conflict. An inner conflict is just that. We have aspects of ourselves that are at conflict. So it's a need for you to figure out what that is for you. You may be at conflict with yourself about making the right decision towards, which, I don't know what it could be, which road to choose, job A or job B. Let's put it that way. There's something that has you hesitating. On one hand, it's exciting, but on another level, it's hesitating. This is typically something that I see when whatever we are faced with that's good does not meet our level does not meet our belief system, and we seem to be at odds within ourselves. So that's very huge. And they're showing me here number 7. So for some of you, this might have transpired in July, but 7 to me symbolizes reflection, the aha moment. And I feel that this is going to be a great opportunity for you to realize some of the things you have been doing, like on autopilot, without thinking about it, without even knowing the reason why. So it has to do with a commitment you make to yourself or commitment you made to somebody. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Point is, some of you are stuck in some scenario in your life, because the next thing I'm going to say is, I also heard it's time to go. So you might be facing a brand new opportunity, but you're still hanging on to the old one. And the universe says, it's time to go. It's time to move. It's time to go. Stop pretending this isn't happening. Keep moving forward. So this is for many of you. Accepting what is and choosing to move on. This will mean something to you, or it will mean nothing to you. Let me just see that. Yes, the number 9, that's September, but it's also time of letting go. It is letting go of resistance to be who you are, not who you want to be. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. Okay, you're resisting who you are by pretending to be somebody else. which leads me to the next message. Okay, so you have the message of protectiveness. 1 and 6 is 7. When I got that card, right away I felt, oh, what is it that they're protecting within themselves that keeps them in hiding? Have they been overprotected to the point that they don't have confidence? Or are they overprotecting somebody else because of their own fear? So it was kind of three-prong equation for me, if you can call it that. So it feels like many of you in the month of September should consider looking at some things inside of you, deep inside of you, that are at conflict, or that make you feel at conflict, and notice if there is something that you are hiding from the world. Are you hiding the true you? Are you hiding someone who expresses things a different way, and because you were overprotected, you never allowed yourself to express it, so you kind of always pushed it aside? I mean, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So on one level, it is about choosing to look at things in your life that you are overprotective over, and notice what is about this overprotectiveness that serves you. You heard right, that serves you. We overdo things in order to overcompensate for things that are missing inside. So there's something being magnified here around the sense of your value, that you overcompensate with some behavior that makes you feel very important. In other words, you may be overdoing something in order to feel good about you, but the overdoing isn't helping anybody. You, long term, or whoever it is, are on the other side of that equation. Also, if you are way overprotective over your kids, well, I'm not saying don't be protective. I have a kid too. But overprotective is a sign that something internally is happening, and we constantly feel like we need to manage a situation because we think something is happening. So this is speaking to some fears. So if you are overprotective about your kids, it's time for you to ask yourself the reasons why. Why are you so overprotective? What is it that you're trying to protect them from, which is really a reflection of you? So that's one aspect. If there is some belief system rooted in a sense of lack inside of you, notice perhaps where that comes from, and if you being sheltered did not allow you to express yourself in a way that will allow you to be confident. So therefore you may appear as someone who is overconfident to compensate for the lack that you actually feel inside of you. So someone who is overconfident may appear someone who is very arrogant, someone who is very arrogant. That's the word I want to use. There's an edginess towards their power, which symbolizes their true power doesn't come from a place of peace. It comes from a place of needing to conceal something, not because anything bad, but you don't want people to see. So anything over that we do is a sign that something inside is not working properly. So what would be another example of being protective? Protecting, being the overprotector, taking on responsibility of other people upon yourself on a regular basis, and being overprotective to the point where you have no life. You are taking care of other people because you believe that's what you do and that's what you're designed to do, and you kind of don't pay attention. As a matter of fact, you love it. It makes you feel good about you. However, chances are that if you are so overprotecting or overdoing it for others, again, it is most likely because it stems from something that's missing inside of you, and you are overcompensating with others in order to gain something for yourself. And that is not being selfish. That is how we learn how to survive. It's how we learn to survive in this world. So there's an idea of protectiveness. What are you protecting within yourself you don't want people to see? Are you ashamed? Are you not proud? Do you feel not good enough? What are some of the things that you keep to yourself? And as a result, you're not being truly you. Who are you protecting, and why are you protecting? Are you overprotecting someone who needs to learn how to fly themselves, and you being the overprotector actually prevents them from being confident in themselves? So there's something, guilt comes up here. So for some of you, you might be overprotective because you have a lot of guilt around, with guilt inside of yourself, and it is up to you to figure out what that is. For anything that is driven by guilt will often come out in a way that feels there's something inside is not going to work. It's going to be at odds. So free yourself. Free yourself could mean you freeing yourself from the outdated beliefs that you still hold on to, that contribute to you behaving in a way that is perhaps overcompensating for something else. You also have unfinished business in protection. So this is all about some past overshadowing some situations in your life. It's casting a shadow. Some situation in your current life is rooted in your past, in that you are driven by a fear associated with it, and it's casting a shadow on your situation. Because I have 4 of Wands, for some of you, this is around a broken relationship that happened a long time ago. You may be overprotecting yourself because you had a spouse who cheated on you and you haven't worked through it. You haven't forgiven the person on you. So anytime you go out dating, you're very protective of yourself and you appear confident, but you're hiding because you don't want to be hurt, right? But the problem with that is that when you continually when you continually keep yourself closed, when you continue to overprotect yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to find yourself in a balanced relationship down the road. So that's one example of what that would be. For some of you, your unfinished business from your past is causing difficulties in either your home or in your work. Certain fears are being brought forward, and this is being externalized in your relationship or in your work. So there's a need for you, again, to look inside, really important. You have the card of time to go. Well, as the card says, this message says time to move on. Time to go is actually what I had. I had this message, and this card came 10 minutes later. And 2 of Pentacles is in reverse. So this is about a decision or about shuffling things in your life, but it's about a physical aspect. So this is going to be home, family, friends, maybe health, but it's the jobs. It's the things that we can see and touch. It's time to leave something behind. It's time to move on from that lesson. It's time to close the karmic cycle of repeating the same thing over and over again. So for those of you who are overprotective or are overprotecting yourself for whatever reason, apparently you've done this many, many times. If you believe in such thing, in many lifetimes. Those are usually, I find, the hardest traits to overcome, because energetically we've done it for so long, we're so used to it, it's just part of who we are. But it also serves as a protection. The 2 of Pentacles, I just hear decision, decision, decision. So perhaps looking at those things will allow you to make some choices and decisions going forward that otherwise you wouldn't have made. Perhaps as a result of you looking inside, you realize that actually there is something deep inside of you missing. And after deep search and deep work, you realize that deep inside you feel you feel maybe like you're not loved, and you never thought about that. You never pay attention to it. You kind of protect yourself because, well, that's what we do. But if the fundamental truth for you is, as that example, that you don't feel loved, then you have to start taking care of you. You have to learn how to cater to you, how to learn how to love you. For if you want to love someone, you need to love yourself first. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Natural humility is another card that I'm looking at. It's the number 6-9. So 6 is about balance. 9 is about endings. But I feel this is to do with relationships. So it's letting go of certain judgments you have around your relationships and around yourself in a relationship. So as the example of being overprotective, if you are someone who has been overprotective in your relationships, it is because you're trying to hide from something that you feel will be happening, which usually does not feel good. That's what we protect ourselves from. And as a result, we have certain judgments. We keep people away from ourselves because we believe they're going to hurt us. We are critical of ourselves, which then makes us very critical of other people. So we don't allow other people come close to us. And then when we don't allow them to come close to us, we think and believe that we're not worthy when these people want to come to us, but we're saying, no, you can't go through that door. That's too painful. So those are some of the things that are coming up. And natural humility is about letting go of the ego-based fears. The fear of being abandoned, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being good enough. Those are all things we learn to believe it about ourselves. It's not things that come out of nowhere. And even if there is a lesson from a different lifetime, a karmic lesson, let's call it that way, that you have been struggling for years, even if it is connecting to a different lifetime, something in this lifetime always has to trigger it. Some sort of a situation, set of circumstances, whatever it is. So it is more often than not, enough to look at what's in this lifetime in order to shake some of those beliefs loose and away from you. 9 of Wands, to me, this is overcoming a burden. So you might have a lot of guilt around, and therefore you have a lot of burden on your shoulders. You might need to examine what your guilt is. What are you protecting? Who are you protecting? And is it because of that you feel overwhelmed and overburdened? And when you discover things about yourself that open your eyes, you may decide that you're going to do some things different, make different choices, and get yourself out of some predicaments that you thought perhaps you had no other choice before. Last but not least, some of you have difficulty with receiving, with asking for help. This would be for some of you because you're very proud. Why are you proud? Well, proud is a great thing. Being proud is very good. If you're really proud, man, own it. But oftentimes our pride is often a mask for something that is lacking inside of us. We just don't want to show it. So if you have difficulty asking for help, ask yourself the question, why? Is it because you believe deep inside that you don't deserve it? Is it because you believe that at the end of the day, it's always you and there is no other help and that's just the way it is? Remember, that's a belief. It's a learned system. Do you keep yourself away from friends or having friends because you're convinced that when you open yourself up, you're going to be abandoned? Well, if you believe that that is the case, you will continue to look for that as your clue and therefore your proof. So it is a time to shift your awareness, and that's really what the freeing is, freeing yourself from outdated beliefs. Time to go. In other words, time to go. You've learned that lesson. Whatever that is for you, whatever keeps you stuck, whatever keeps you in this perpetual cycle of repeating the same thing over and over again and not feels good, it's time to realize what that is for you now so that you no longer continue to do this. And the more you can reflect inside, the more you can be true to yourself by looking at aspects of you that were hidden, that you're protecting, the more you'll be able to free yourself from whatever prison you're in. and we're all in some kind of prison inside. And with that said, I see the number 10 and a check mark. So to me, it symbolizes many of you are ready to close a chapter. And when we close a chapter, it means lesson has been learned and it's time to move on to something different. So again, many of you are in transitions, many of us are in transitions, and as a result, certain things will be endings and new things will be beginning. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. Appreciate a change when it's coming, because it symbolizes you opening to new experiences. And that's all I'm going to have, I think, for you guys. So I hope this makes sense. Makes no sense to me. Listen to it at the end of the month or even October and see how this applies. If you wish to comment, I would love to read it. Thank you so much again. I love having you watch me, because I know there is many tremendous people out there. Thank you again for subscribing, for sharing, and for liking. For private sessions, that information is down below. And until October, I wish you best of luck in September. Take care of yourself and see you soon.